All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. You guys ready? Yes. Let me find my, I am, all right, going to bring the council meeting to order, and I would like to welcome Pastor Rick Mulligani with Fairhope Christian Church for the opening prayer. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Most gracious and loving God, we ask for your blessing upon this meeting tonight as we discuss plans for this fair city. May our deliberations be filled with grace, and may the decision we make match up with your will and purposes for us and all involved. I ask you to bless this body, this leadership, and all who have business before this council. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Council, before we get started, there was discussion in the work session about adding an item to the agenda, which would be item number 18. I will entertain a motion to add number 18 to the agenda.
So moved.
No, second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, that item will be added as number 18. Item number 1 is to approve the minutes of the April 10th, 2023 regular city council meeting and the April 10th work session. Council, any changes, additions, or deletions to those minutes?
No, Council, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the previous work session and meeting.
No, second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next up is the mayor's report.
Good evening. So last week we celebrated National Volunteer Week, and so I want to thank Paige and all the staff for coming out and helping us celebrate that. But the reason I started off with that is because this weekend we celebrated so much that involved volunteers from our community. Earth Day, Gary Gover and his group were there celebrating Earth Day. It was a great event. Gary, thank you for all y'all do for that. We appreciate it. And then we had Chalk the Walk. We had soccer, a big soccer tournament, 90 teams in town. So there was a lot of things going on in town this weekend. It was a beautiful weekend and just a lot of volunteerism all over town. So thank you to everybody who makes those events possible and puts those on for our community. The other thing I want to remind everybody is we start our Coffee with the Mayor series tomorrow. We have our first one at 9 o'clock at the Nick Center, and then they will be held every other month throughout the year. But the first one is tomorrow at the Nick Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next up is public participation for agenda items. So if you have something on items number 5, through 18, now is your opportunity to speak. All right. Hearing none, I will close public participation and go to council comments. Councilman Burrell.
Yeah, just a quick comment. At the last work session, we were presented a plan for the, let's call it the Triangle property, more the North Triangle property. I just want to keep it on the council and mayor's radar that there were some comments made, and I guess I don't know what the next step is, but I want some of those comments to be looked into, some other comments. So I just hope we do have another bite at the apple on that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that was it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Councilman Martin.
Yeah, Jack, there's a meeting there's a meeting on April 26th with invited council, mayor, and steering committee meeting on the 26th of this month. So that'll be a great opportunity to kind of reiterate some of those things that we talked about. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Thank you.
Councilman Boone.
I can tell you, y'all, nobody came down to Earth Day. We missed a beautiful weekend, a beautiful day. It's a very nice event, and a lot of fun.
Can I have a go back? Council President, can I have a go back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question. I read in the paper, I think it was the Courier, about some pavers being sold. And I believe it said they were going to be placed at the K1 Center. It was for the 100th anniversary. and it said they were going to be placed sometime in the fall. I want to say it said by September, and I thought, we've got a lot going on there. Are we working with somebody on that? Because I don't remember anything ever being said about that. And they're being sold, and people can buy them at the school, and they're going to be installed. And I just want to make sure that the city's on top of that, because that came as news to me.
We are aware of it, but they will not be installed before the construction starts at the K-1 Center. So,
Who gave them permission to even do it? I mean, I thought that was something that, and not saying that we just said no ever, but I kind of thought they would have come before the council to ask for permission to modify our property.
I mean, we sell bricks all the time for sidewalks. It's just we're dedicating that section of it for people who want to buy them for the school. So it's something we do all over town.
Yeah, these were these were big pavers. I don't think they were bricks. Okay.
Anything else? All right, I want to just recognize Fairhope's baseball team swept Daphne last week to capture the area championship. Jerry pitched in the deciding game, did he not? Game 2? So congratulations to him. Congratulations to that team. Did a great job. Represents the city well, and we wish them best of luck in the playoffs starting when? Friday. In Fairhope? All right, come see them, guys. It's a good team. All right, that's all I've got. Moving on, item number 5 is a resolution that the City Council approves the funding of a temporary position for the Electric Superintendents and the Water and Wastewater Superintendent. These positions will be for training purposes only, not to exceed 60 days, and will automatically defund with the retirement of the existing personnel. I'll say this, I hate that we're losing anybody to retirement around here. It's always, I said that on the radio this morning that I'm incredibly happy for the people that are able to retire when they are able to retire. But it's sad for the rest of us because we lose you and we lose your knowledge and your ability to contribute to the city and all the things that you bring. But I do think this is a wonderful idea, and it's something we've done now for a while to give us the opportunity to learn, and so that when you do retire, we're not losing anything and ready to go.
So moved.
I've got a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 6 is a resolution that the City Council authorizes and approves hiring an animal control officer, and the current employee will remain on staff, which will allow him to work and train the new animal control officer. This will be an overlap position that will be beneficial to the city as well as the new hire. The position overlap will expire on June 8th, 2023.
I move to fund the overlap position.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 7 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Volkert, Inc. to perform professional engineering services for utilities relocation for the state of Alabama US 31 widening project with a not-to-exceed amount of $152,732.96. The engineering services are 100% reimbursable by the state of Alabama.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. Item number 8 is a resolution that the City Council approves amendment number 2 to the contract for on-call professional engineering services with Stewart Engineering, Inc. for the electric department to extend the current contract for the 3rd year until March 7, 2024, and authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute amendment number 2 with a not-to-exceed amount of $25,000.
I move to approve the amendment.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Item number 9 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection of Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. for rehab engineering services for Doghouse Lift Station project, and hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
Move to approve this selection.
Okay.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. And didn't they say this is
Recovery
covered
funds.
by somebody else?
This is
Recovery funds.
COVID money,
Okay.
COVID relief.
All right. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 10 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection of O'Donnell and Associates, Inc. to perform professional services for professional hydrogeologic and environmental services for well fields 1, 3, and 4, and hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
I move to approve the selection.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I was going to say, for those that may not have been at the work session, we're blowing through this because we discussed all these in detail in the work session.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection of O'Donnell and Associates, Inc. to perform professional services for remote groundwater level monitoring as part of the Fairhope Water System Planning Project Phase 1, and hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Council, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 12 is a resolution to award bid number 23-021-2023 for transfer station slab reconstruction to Impact Divisions LLC with a total bid proposal of $145,583.10.
I vote to award the bid.
Okay, I've got
I'll make
a,
the motion to award the bid, I'm sorry.
got a motion and a, did I get a second?
Second.
Yep.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Or any further discussion? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, Richard, this is just a slab. We're not dumping this into any type of container, correct?
This is our transfer station, this is the actual transfer core that's being replaced.
Okay, the actual core. Okay. All right, thank you. That's all.
And Richard was kind enough to point out that this is under budget
Yep, I saw it.
By
By
almost
$4,000.
$40,000.
by almost
Yeah.
$40,000. All right. All right, guys, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 13 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for professional engineering services for the 46 kV transmission loop along the west side of Greeno Road and authorizes the mayor to execute a contract with Stewart Engineering with a not-to-exceed amount of $166,000.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Council, any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Item number 14 is a resolution that the City Council authorizes and approves the direct payment to the subcontractor GeoCon Engineering and Testing, Inc. for professional engineering services for athletic track and additional parking with a not-to-exceed amount of $8,000. This expense is not an additional expense, but will save the city 10% administrative fees and will be deducted from the total contract cost with Sawgrass Consulting, LLC.
Move to authorize and approve the payment.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 15 is a resolution that certain items are declared surplus, and the mayor and city treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to dispose of personal property owned by the City of Fairhope by one of the four methods listed on the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
And wishing you guys the best of luck in recovering what you recovered last time. Keep up the good work. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next up, item 16 is an appointment to the Environmental Advisory Board, and the appointee or the nominee is Carol Tebay. Okay.
So moved.
All right, we got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Next up, we have 3 appointments or nominees to the Historic Preservation Committee, and those nominees are Sean Graham, Cynthia Rush, and Elizabeth Williams. And the terms shall end April of 2026.
Move to appoint the 3 nominees.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, the motion carries. Next on the agenda is the item that we amended to add at the beginning, and I'll read it. It's a resolution that the bids for the installation of a sanitary sewer lift station at Planters Point are hereby rejected due to excessive cost, and authorizes staff to revise the specifications for cost savings and rebid.
Move to reject the bids.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion carries. Item number 19 now is public participation for non-agenda items. So if you've got something that was not on the agenda, now is your opportunity to come and speak. And please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Todd Seeley. I own Gallery by the Bay at 386 Fairhope Avenue, and I'm here this evening representing Fairhope Avenue merchants between Section and Church Street in regard to the First Friday Art Walk. Since the last city administration shut down Del Mar kind of for an exclusive festivities for Art Walk Night. It's very much affected Fairhope Avenue merchants, and we'd like to see Fairhope Avenue get closed down for those types of things to take place for our merchants like myself and others on Fairhope Avenue. I've got every merchant regarding parking removal at 5 p.m. Not everyone is going to participate. Most are participating. And at the very least, if we can't close it down in conjunction with Delamar, we'd like to at least alternate months. Is that possible?
I
So,
like it personally.
Yeah. What was the history? I don't know the history.
so we
of-
did close it once before, I remember.
That was for a
Fairhope Avenue
fee
has
for
never
that,
been
so.
closed during Art Walk.
Yeah.
Never.
However,
Okay.
you know, locals are very much aware to be considerate of the crossings and all the activities on Art Walk night. We've never, to my knowledge, have ever had an issue. I mean, we've been there going on 8 years now, so.
So you just want, no issues, but you just want it on the books in case an issue comes up. This
I'd
is
like to be able
ahead of the
to
game.
close it
Yeah.
in conjunction with closing down Delamar. If there's a traffic flow issue, that's where I said, at the very least, we'd like to be able to at least alternate closings with Delamar. There are far more merchants on Fairhope Avenue than there are on Delamar. So for
I
just
think
the
we all know why that was done. Okay, call it the way I see it.
Paige, you have something to
Yeah,
add to
Paige,
this?
Chief, anybody,
I think I've
police?
been speaking with Ann through email, and I invited them to come to kind of get y'all's pulse on what your opinion was either way. And like y'all, we did state, Delamar, I think, was closed 3 to 4 years ago. So ever since then, Mayor and I were speaking during the break, that was kind of brought to the council's agenda for a safety, because we did have a lot of kids out congregating around Jeans Beans. I will say we had a little bit of trouble with some folks who were setting up in the street. So I will say I do have a little bit of hesitation because we do let folks, if they are on private property and have the permission of the property owner, they can set up if they do have a business license. However, we've been seeing a lot more folks just set out throughout the middle of the street.
On Fairhope Ave?
On
page?
Delamar right
On
now.
Delamar.
Now,
Well, it's
now
closed,
Fairhope
though.
Avenue has closed once before. We did try it, I believe, in the last 8 years, I know. But I think a lot of the hesitation, or maybe a little bit of the pushback, was from the restaurants. I think a lot of them, and with it being a major thoroughfare, I think getting folks to and from, I think that was a lot of the hesitation too. But Ann has polled a few of her neighbors to kind of take the pulse on what they're.
Yeah, I've actually spoken with the owners of Pearl and of Sage. They were supposed to be here tonight, but they had a training event. And they're both, and Bone and Barrel as well, was all for it.
So every restaurant was supportive?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't apply to another Broken Egg because they're only open for breakfast and lunch. So.
Well, I think we could reroute traffic down Bancroft and over to Magnolia. I mean, they could also go to Section and over, but maybe, to kind of head that off a little bit so it's not such chaos at that. I think we can make it work. I'm not an excuse maker. I think if there's a will, there's a way to make it work.
Yeah, we do close it down during like New Year's.
What would the
events and-
times be, Paige?
We close it, we put out no parking after 5 PM, so it would be, we would have to, we usually, Art Walk technically starts from 6 to 8, I believe, but folks start getting to town at 5, so that gives us a little bit of cushion to get, if we have to tow cars or get folks out of there, so we usually close it down. I would say no parking after 5 PM. And I will say, I don't know how quickly y'all are wanting to move on this, but I will say we do have the Eastern Shore Repertory Theater have their play on the Bluff the first Friday.
And the parking garage construction.
And the parking garage construction. Not to, we
Well,
just,
you can always skip a month if you have something like
Yeah.
that too. I mean, you could kind of ease into it, and if you have that
was gonna
big
say, if
event,
you-
there's nothing to say, well, you can't do it this month because of something.
Right.
Mayor?
Maybe wait a couple months because of the part of the alley.
Yeah. I mean, is this something we got to do tomorrow?
No.
Okay. That's what I'm just talking to the resident
No,
at this
I
point.
was hoping if we can, at least June to start, if we.
I'm asking as one of 5, can we kind of take into consideration the construction and what we're doing there before we move on this? Just out of courtesy to that situation? I don't know
I don't think it
what that
affects
means.
it personally.
You know,
Sure.
oh, okay.
We'll work around it.
I still park
okay.
there every day.
I mean-
If they want to go downtown, they want to park, they'll find a place to park. They'll find a place. The parking garage is still open.
it is still open.
Okay, I just didn't
There's
want it to
access
be
on
a
the north
nuisance
side.
and I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't want us to put up barriers to the business. They got 100% participation. It's in favor of it. I say we give it a shot.
I'm not against it. I just don't, I don't want two things to kind of collide.
Well, that's
And
the
I
things
don't
to
know
work
enough,
on.
I don't know enough.
I'm thinking about the business that you and I are currently in and the complaints that they have. That's what I'm thinking about. It's gonna prevent anybody from, they're claiming that the parking garage is causing problems.
Yeah.
And then they're block their parking in the front.
Yeah.
That was one of the businesses he just mentioned as being supportive.
I know that, but I'm just, they're talking out both sides of their mouth.
Yeah. And I've tried to travel down that right now. It's kind of,
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be a good tradition to try it. And I know that there's some things, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
saying it flippantly, and that there's some logistics. The police will have to work on this.
Right.
Paige and the mayor.
Yeah.
I know the staff will have some work to do.
Yeah.
Public Works.
That's all
And
I'm saying.
it kind of like there's not, but I just think that the end result.
I think the end
I
result
would
is
be in
fine.
favor of it, doing it, and I would say even by June, because once you start getting into the hotter months, it's not as good. I mean, I would say May is way too soon, but maybe
Yeah.
June. I mean, I think this body should.
Yeah, May is
Yeah.
next Friday
I would
night.
lobby for everybody to say yes.
Once again, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure the logistics as far as the flow right now, what we got going on, because I've driven down, it's been tight down there. So to reroute with so much going on, and I'm just saying we need to take that in consideration. That's all. I'm not against it at all.
And I am only asking for Fairhope Avenue and not to obstruct traffic,
From
you know,
Section
from
Street.
Section or Church.
Yeah.
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 And I'm not saying that, but I'm just thinking that east-west, it just could suggest they take Bancroft to kind of ease some of what's going to be going on with Section right there. Yeah, you don't want somebody barreling through that thing.
No.
North-south, yeah.
But it worked for De La Mar. I mean, it worked great at De La Mar, and there may be some complaints and some things, and, I don't disagree with the vendors, issue out in the street, stuff like that, but we could.
So you're saying, Paige, you're saying you don't want them out in the street once we shut it down, if we shut it down, if we were to vote?
Not if they're not licensed and just showing up with
Right.
sort of a,
Like
With the
a-
folding
a
table
free-
and their wares.
Right,
I mean, we're just having a lot of that kind of, and it just kind of rubs a lot of our downtown merchants the wrong way.
Well, sure,
'cause-
I agree.
absolutely. You
Yeah.
got somebody who's paying rent to be in the downtown
I
area,
don't
and
think
you
we
got
should
somebody
allow
just shows up to sell their, whatever they're selling, and I mean, who aren't paying any of the same dues those people are paying. So, I mean, it's a big deal.
And, yeah. So, yeah, we can kick it around, man. I think it's some, I
I
mean,
mean, I
we need
think
to kick it
anything's
around.
worth- I
though.
know we tried it before, and I know there was a reason we didn't do it again, and I don't
That's
know
why
if
I
it
was
was,
asking
I don't know,
history.
I don't know if it was traffic or what, or,
And I mean, and definitely if the merchants on Fairhope Avenue are in support of it, I mean, we could
Yeah.
definitely give it a
I
go.
mean, that's
think
exactly
so.
right.
Right.
I agree with that 100%. Not against it. I just know that we got a lot going on, and I just want to make sure the logistics are correct. Instead of just saying, yes, we'll do it, whatever.
Right.
And then we run into another problem,
I was going to say, prior to the closing, the regular closing of Fairhope, of De La Mar, some of the merchants did, including us, we would have live music out on the sidewalk. So, I mean, there was plenty of activity that was going on, again, with the, people are cognizant enough that they know what's going on, they know to be careful. Most Fairhope residents, I think, are pretty considerate of, people crossing the street and that. So even with all that activity, with no street blockage, I think I don't know that we've ever had an issue, but I would like to, be afforded the same, or the Fairhope Avenue merchants be afforded the same kind of freedom for customers and that to take part in
It's kind of
festivities
nice
and
to
that.
put it, I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
It'd be kind of nice to put a big sign up there, and it's like, all the parking you want in parking garage.
I mean,
Yeah, but-
what is
but you're-
everybody
but-
thinking? Because if we're gonna
You're
allow
directing
it,
them to that. That's what my point is. Like, if you do it before that parking garage and all that, if you direct them that way, that's a cluster to me, in my
I'm referring to
opinion.
when it is an apartment.
That's all I'm saying. There you go. Boy, yeah,
A thing I hear is
Yeah.
nobody knows it's there. Well, that's-
yeah.
And I hear that, we hear that from
Right.
a lot of.
And what I'm, yeah, and what I'm thinking is that we're forcing them there, and that's what I'm thinking, like,
first left on your,
we're gonna have to do the logistics, is all I'm saying.
well,
Yeah.
y'all kind of in agreement, because if not, we gotta start working on those details, or staff, and mayor has to work on those details, because they probably need an answer before the, several weeks
Well,
before
we're
the
not
first
voting
event,
on
so
that
they
right
can
now.
prepare their staff and.
We had 2 more police officers, because they blocked the street of both ends. So, we've got some logistics right there. Can we start?
yeah, well, I think it's worth looking at. I mean, but,
Yes.
and you can bring back to the next council meeting, because I mean, we won't do it before June at the earliest. So I think, I think it's worth giving a shot. And again, if there's some reason that it can't be something that happens on a regular basis, then we'll just figure out what that issue is and deal with it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn, sir.
All right, got a motion for adjourn. Anybody else? Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.